Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Thursday edition of the JP Peterson Show. This is a special edition. Look at all these people. Oh, my God. We're in studio here. We have our first in-studio guest. Nick Geddes is here as well from On3 Sports. And our first in-studio guest, our first victim, is the great BJ Daniels, noted author, Super Bowl champ, and USF quarterback. Good morning, BJ. Thanks for coming in, man.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Oh, this is going to be fun. We got you for 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
We get to torture you for 2 hours?
It's a long time.
Oh, it's going to be – you know what? It goes fast. Hopefully it goes fast because that means the conversation is fun and light, and we're going to enjoy it. So thank you for coming in. Really appreciate that. Of course, we're going to get to all the topics we normally get to. The Lightning have a big game tonight against the scorching hot Winnipeg Jets, who have won 15 of their first 16 games to set an NHL record. The Rays are still trying to figure out where the hell they're going to play. We'll talk about that, but the majority of the day we're going to be talking about college football and the football scene here and getting the great comments from BJ Daniels, who's done just about everything there is to do in the world of football, man. So we're really excited to have you here.
Blessed to be here. Appreciate you.
You like the digs?
Yeah, I do. I didn't know what to expect.
It's half law office, half studio. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, we're going to get the TVs all working here in a little bit, but it's great to have you in.
Blessed to be here. Thank you.
So you've been doing. Good morning to you, Nick.
No, I was going to say, full disclosure, BJ. When I woke up this morning, the first text I had was from him, and he tells me BJ Daniels is coming in studio. Wear something USF. And I'm like,
so here you are in your Kiowa Island shirt.
Yeah, I wear neutral because I went to UCF, BJ.
Oh,
I'm a
no.
UCF guy.
Oh, no.
And I don't know why JP's telling me to wear something USF. Like
just wear it.
It's in the closet or something. It wasn't there.
We'll get you a shirt. Don't worry about it. I got you.
I could have brought you something. You should have said, bring me a shirt. I mean, it'd be about 6 sizes too big, but
it doesn't look great right now. I got to be honest.
I love it. This is the way I wanted it to start. Great. We got UCF, we got FSU, and we got USF. So Gators need not apply here. But let's get right into it because I've not had a chance to read your book yet. I've read the excerpts, and the book is Beyond the Red Zone. How's that going? And I know you've done a lot of motivational speaking and done a lot of speeches about the book. How's that going?
It's going really well. I actually sold out on Amazon the first month it came out. So Amazon has asked me to restock.
Nice.
But it's been amazing, man, just to have the opportunity to tell my story, and not necessarily the football story, but just, what it looks like to, try to climb that ladder of success. And when things don't go right, what do you do? And I talk to my USF players all the time. No one trains to be the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Everyone really, wants to be successful, works out really hard, studies, reads, writes. But what happens when things don't go your way? Then what do you do? How do you transition? How do you pivot? So there's a lot of little intrinsic stories and details about my life that I'm sharing, involving and surrounding around mental health. And hopefully I have the opportunity to make someone else, share their story.
Yeah, it's important now. And I think one of the great, advancements that we've had over the past 20, 25 years is the stigma of getting help when you need help from a mental health standpoint. I can't count the therapy sessions that I've done over the years, and it's been tremendously helpful for me, and I recommend it to anybody. And because we can't do this alone, right? We just cannot do this alone, especially in the world we live in now that is so chaotic, so anxiety-ridden, right? This is the first thing you got to do is say, I need help, and there's no shame in that.
Right.
None.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's so interesting, right? I have mentors, so people that actually, educate me, help me out with certain things. So, I can even mention Russell Wilson, for example, right?
Yeah. Let's start dropping names, bro. And have played with and have been coached by some of the greats. So I'm going to get into all that. You've been coached by Pete Carroll, obviously, the great Jim Leavitt, who may or may not make an appearance today. We'll see who we can drum up and call in. It'll be like, this is your life. We'll just start calling people. Beast Mode, obviously, Marshawn Lynch, Jim Harbaugh, right?
Yeah.
They're coached by Jim Harbaugh at the 49ers. So you've been around. You've been around, partner. So I want to get into all of it and get your thoughts on all these folks. So as you mentioned, you have these mentors in your life. What have they taught you?
Just how to transition, pivot, and continue to move forward. There's no secret. The year we won the Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks, we played against the Denver Broncos. While we're in preparation for one of the greatest games and the greatest game in the sport of football, Russell Wilson's going through a divorce. So you have to think about the simple fact that we're also human beings dealing with real life situations and trying to prepare for a football game where we're judged as people based on our performance. So, just watching him go through that whole process and him still be able to perform and get ready and prepare. That's one of the things I really admired. I witnessed, and I want to continue to kind of pass on and transition with to other people.
And he's been going through obviously a lot recently. I mean, went to Denver on a huge contract, didn't work out so well, had to pivot to the Steelers, and now look what he's doing there. And had to start the season not as a starting quarterback. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
And he's really had a good last couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you been in contact with him at all? Like send him the text here and there?
No, not recently.
Yeah.
But the whole idea, even when I was the backup quarterback at USF, you always want to prepare yourself as if you're the man before you're the man.
Yeah.
And Russell has done that, obviously being the backup with the Steelers. And, there's no secret that he prepared for this opportunity. So a lot of people are shocked to see him, run around and do his thing. But he's been doing that. And that's kind of the same thing I did when I was at USF. Matt Guthrie was a starter, coming from Tallahassee and just growing up with the idea that I wanted to be the guy. I always still prepared like that. So when we played Florida State and my opportunity came, I was still ready.
Yeah. So let's go back to where it all began. I guess we could go Lincoln High School in Tallahassee. I mean, for those of you who don't know, I've known BJ since he was about 6 years old, when his dad Bruce used to bring him to Tully Gym at Florida State, where we would play lunchtime basketball. Mm-hmm. And we literally played for, I think I was there 7-8 years. We moved it over to the Moore Center, but it was the most impactful thing for me to meet your dad. The head of the Seminole Boosters would play. Mark Rick would play. He was an assistant coach. Skip Holtz was an assistant. Skip would come in and play. David Zimroth, my buddy Z, Coach Z, would come in and play. There was a lot of celebrities coming through this lunchtime game. I'm here to tell you.
Those slouch games.
And your dad was a baller. Your dad was a baller. We're gonna have him on the show later on. But I've known you for that long, and obviously raised by an incredible man, and you are his legacy, which is another incredible man, and I just love that part of it. But when you were growing up, what are those lessons that your father taught you that you have taken with you to become the successful man you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I love to tell the story all the time. I mean, I grew up in a dorm room, on Florida State's campus, so, my transition situation was always wanting to be like Charlie Ward or Derek Brooks and play in Florida State Stadium. Little did I know I would do that, but with a different team, but
yeah, we could talk about that too.
Yeah. No, but my dad started from humble beginnings, for me to talk about growing up in the dorm room, I'm bragging about that.
Yeah.
Because my dad literally sacrificed and did what he could do. My mother was a nurse at Tallahassee Memorial Hospital. So, at the time, what society teaches you is the man makes the most money and supposed to look like this and look like that. But, early on, it didn't start off that way. And I really appreciate just the family dynamic that my parents showed me, which, one day, hopefully I can be able to reciprocate and be an example of those same things of love and commitment and just being faithful.
Yeah, the nuclear family is something that's kind of been crapped on in recent years, and I hope we get back to much more of it because I think it's such a bedrock for this country and society in general. And having a mom and a dad, especially the ones you had, makes a huge difference, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, learned a lot.
Yeah. Feel free to jump in here anytime you want, Nick, because as a young man, you can learn a lot for sure. So you talked about playing at Florida State, and this is, I would think, one of the amazing memories that you've had. Take us through that whole dynamic of playing in Tallahassee and in a game that USF fans will never forget.
Yeah, I mean, growing up in Tallahassee, like I said, always wanted to play, in Doak Campbell Stadium. But when I committed to USF, Florida State was not even on the schedule. So that wasn't even a thing for me. I really just wanted the opportunity to play, make a name for myself. Jim Levitt, I really trusted him to let me know that I would play football and basketball. So back then, Big East basketball was tough.
It was. That when you guys were in the Big East, yeah.
Yeah, and it was really cool to have that opportunity my first year. But backing up Matt Grothe, one of the great USF quarterbacks who just got inducted in the Hall of Fame last week. I was just there to really waiting on my opportunity, to be honest. And unfortunately, Matt got hurt the game before Florida State. So I had the opportunity not only to play against Florida State, but I just thought I was going to be there.
Right.
Little did I think I was going to be the starter. But that game was amazing. I remember, crying on the football field pregame, and Jim Levitt came up to me and said, "Man, what's wrong with you, man?" I'm like, "Coach, I'm just happy to be here." He said, "Well, you need to figure it out." And
that was his motivational speech. Yeah, you need to figure it out. That's quintessential Jim Levitt right there.
Absolutely.
Get your shit together. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. And I was just teary-eyed because I remember staying on the field in warm-ups, looking in the stands at the seats that me and my dad used to sit and watch Charlie Ward and Derek Brooks and all that. So, I make the joke all the time. If we would have played Ohio State or some unfamiliar stadium, who knows how I would have reacted. But I had been in that stadium 1,000 times.
So it felt like home.
Absolutely. It was no different for me. So, that game was amazing. It was a great opportunity for me. South Florida really did a good job of, just stepping up and making a name for ourselves. And at the end of the day, man, I had great teammates. People forget 9 out of 11 guys on defense went to the NFL.
9 out of 11.
So it wasn't just me. It was not just me.
Throw out some of those names.
Jason Pierre-Paul, Jared Selvey. You had Terrell McClain on the defensive line. You had Nate Allen at free safety. Jerome Murphy at corner, Keon Wilson at linebacker, Sam Barrington at linebacker,
wow,
Kayvon Webster at nickel. I mean, we had some guys,
some dudes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember when Nate Allen, I forget who he lit up, but that was the moment I knew as an FSU fan, we're in trouble.
Yeah,
we're in trouble. Yeah. He lit up. I forget, some running back came through the hole, and Nate just lit him up, and you could hear it in the top row.
I mean, his helmet went one way, his body went another.
Oh, that's right. What year was that? Was that
2009?
2009.
Yep.
And final score?
17-7.
17-7.
Yep.
That was. I think USF football fans now would think back and go, "Really?"
Yeah.
And by the way, that wasn't the Florida State football team you have this year. That was actually a really good football team.
Bobby Bowden's era.
That was Bobby Bowden's era. So it wasn't this crap you've seen. Are you shocked at what you see at FSU right now?
I am. Absolutely.
We all are.
In my personal opinion, I root for Tallahassee.
Sure.
So just the heart, I don't see it as much as I would like to. So, yeah.
Might be a nice time to transition into this. And I know we'll be all over the map here today, but my thoughts on just such a precipitous fall for a team that won 19 in a row, 13-0 last year, ACC champs. Terrible misevaluations in the portal and starts at quarterback. An offensive line that was completely disguised by Jordan Travis, clearly, because there's a lot of the same guys, and this line is terrible. Yeah. They're literally the worst offense in the nation, 132nd, like Florida State University. That's incredible. They have receivers that really can't catch the football. But so much of it is misevaluation in NIL, bringing in guys, handing them jobs as starters over guys that you recruited.
Right.
This dynamic that we now have in college football, where you're changing 30% of your team, maybe 40% of your team every year, guys coming in. This has got to be really hard for coaches to juggle. How do you see this whole thing? And I think it's really what's led to this decline at Florida State. It's a lack of loyalty. It's a lack of togetherness, and they're playing for themselves. Last year, that team played for Florida State. Right. They played for themselves as a family. Mike had them all together, and this is the complete antithesis of that.
Yeah,
that's how I see it. How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Just the whole mystique of Florida State. Playing Florida State back in the day, or just being around it and growing up around it, there is just this mystique in the air. The air just felt different. When you played against Florida State, you heard their name. You think about how successful they were and how many years they've been in the top 5 national championships, and you think about all the great players and the legacy that Florida State represents. I do think it's a thing now where A lot of young athletes don't know the history.
Yep.
I don't think they're playing for the name, just not on the back, but the name on the front.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's definitely changed. I do think no excuse, but I think Florida State went through a lot, when it came to the college football playoffs. I really do.
Yeah, that snub
Yeah.
sent everything for. And obviously the guys that didn't play in the bowl game,
Right.
Recruiting took a huge hit.
Yeah.
A huge hit. Yeah, and I think you're right.
Yeah.
They have not recovered from that.
Yeah, and with the transfer portal, I mean, it was I grew up in an era where, you tough it out. You go through it. You don't get what you want as soon as you walk in the front door. Was I upset that I wasn't, I go through recruiting and then I get, I go to USF and I commit. But all the steak and lobster and shrimp that I was getting before is a little different, when I get on campus. There's no more cheerleaders and no one cares. Now you got to go to work and lift weights and go to practice, go to class. But that whole transition, I think, with the portal allows people to kind of cop out a little bit. So it was disheartening just from a Florida-Georgia perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up in Tallahassee and in high school, that was like one of the things you always wanted to compete with and on. I didn't like to see Florida State play Georgia the way they did last year.
Yeah, it was ugly.
I was disappointed, and I really thought that most of the guys that were there, regardless of how you felt about the decisions of people that make more money than you,
play the adults that were supposed to handle this better.
Play for pride, play for yourself, play for the mystique of Florida State, play for the reason, think about what it was like when you were in high school, when you didn't have that opportunity, when no one was recruiting and when you were a walk-on or when you earned your first scholarship. Like those things matter, in my opinion. And, I went to.
So you would have played.
Absolutely.
In that situation.
I didn't get a chance to be on national television. Are you kidding me? I'm there. You don't have to pay me anything.
Even though ESPN, and you're going to play on ESPN again, and they just screwed you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what the players knew it.
Yeah.
Like they knew it was political.
Yeah.
They knew it wasn't about Jordan's injury. They knew what happened.
Yeah.
And they were so disappointed. And Mike had just told them, you guys, just keep your head down, work hard, do what you're supposed to do. And if you win all your games, you're going to get in.
Yeah.
And, and for Mike, that was the right message, but it didn't turn out to be true.
Right.
And I think guys just got so disillusioned with the whole system. I agree with you. I think that's what I would have done. But being in their shoes, I don't know. Am I going to go risk injury? Am I going to go play in an exhibition game so ESPN can make more money?
Mm-hmm.
It's I kind of look at those guys and I say, it's your decision. I don't want to fault them for it because it was such a screw job. But if it were me, I'd be with you.
Now I ask you this: is there a difference in if I'm a sophomore versus I'm a senior draft pick?
Yeah, big difference. Well, in that case too, and I don't listen. These teams are gifted. I don't even know what the numbers are. $12-14 million that goes to the school for these Orange Bowls. Now I know a lot of that goes to the conference. A lot of it goes to the school. Did they offer to pay the players? Did they offer to say, hey, Jared Verse, we'll give you $100,000 to play the game? Yeah, they should have. Mm-hmm. Every one of those guys that were, you guys get a little bit more insurance policy for them, and then say here's $100,000 to play the game. I think that's that's what we're doing now. Yeah, but I don't think that. And I said it then. I said, look, man, get the guys together. Say you go beat Georgia with your team and go 14-0. Mm-hmm. You have a case to be the national champion like UCF did in 2017. Right? Claim we're national champions. Like, get the rings. Let's go. But I think, that's Mike couldn't do it. He couldn't pull it together. And it's been downhill since.
But I told you too during that game, because I know when we had the discussion, you were like, I don't even want to talk about the game. It doesn't matter or anything. And I told you, well, the players who played on that field that day were the same players who are now playing this year. And that was my telltale when I saw it. I said, this is the players that are all returning next year. Now they're facing Georgia. And you saw how they matched up. They did not match up.
No.
And so obviously Mike goes into the portal because he has eyes. He saw it too. My players don't look like their players physically, athletically, any of those things, right?
Yeah.
Without all the talent that they had already there that did not play in that game. So he goes into the portal, brings in 17 guys. And the problem is, one of them hit maybe? Maybe.
Which one would that be?
Maybe.
Does he punt or kick? No.
Probably putting it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe none of them hit, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So that's to me, if there was anything that game showed me, it was okay, Florida State has a lot of work to do because that's their roster this year.
Yeah, I thought they could be able to augment it, but there was a lot of misevaluations.
And I'd love to throw this out too. I mean, the quarterback matters.
Yes.
It absolutely matters, especially in college football. So, you take Jordan Travis out, you take Coleman out, maybe a running back, the defensive end.
Trey Benson, Trey Worth.
That's the game.
Yeah. I guess I'll ask you this because obviously you played in all three levels. The transition, like even from high school to college and the speed, can you like kind of touch on that as a quarterback and how different that is?
Yeah. In high school, you have guys that are happy to wear a Letterman jacket. In college, and that's how simple it is. In college, it gets a little fewer. You got guys that want to take the Instagram photos at this point.
Yeah.
In the NFL, it's your job. You got to take food off of someone else's plate. No one graduates, so you're not going to just walk in, to a quarterback room and look at Russell Wilson in the face and say, "Okay, I can't wait till you're gone." He might not ever leave. So you actually have to go in with the mentality of, "I'm going to take your job." And then I have to be smarter than you. That's one of the things I think a lot of people don't really understand. I don't think the most talented players are in the NFL, to be honest. But the guys that can actually grasp the concepts of how football really operates and works, it doesn't take them a long time to pick it up. I heard something when I was with the Panthers recently, just the transition of how long does it take a guy to learn it? Your guy that takes 5 reps and one guy that takes 1 rep. Okay, who do you want? You want the guy that you have to spend a lot of time with when time is money. Mm-hmm. Okay. He might not be the best player, but he gets it. He grasps it a lot faster. He's able to transition from week to week with the different playbook or a different scheme against a different team. And that matters. And I'm seeing that and I'm learning that now that I didn't know as a player, but on the other side of the fence.
As a coach.
It's very interesting. Very interesting.
I think that's underrated too. Because, one of the things that Brady would talk about, Belichick talks about, I hear Teddy Bruschi talk about the Patriots dynasty. One of the things they really, really leaned on was super smart football players. Absolutely. Who could adjust from week to week. And he could take, a game plan that they ran 3 years ago and say, this is what we're doing this week. Right. And those guys, and there's a lot of continuity on those teams as well. And like, this is what we're doing. Or even in the middle of a game and say, we got to switch to this. And guys knew what to do.
Right.
Like I think we underestimate that as fans and media, that intelligent football teams that's a big part of it. Is
Absolutely.
it not?
Absolutely. I mean, things happen so fast, just to be able to process, things and be able to, move along. I mean, even now with technology, we can go to the sideline and look at images.
Crazy.
We got videos. I mean, we got so many different things that just changes the game for us. And, at the end of the day, I make the joke all the time. If I would have studied, in school, the way I had to study to be a quarterback, I'd probably be a nurse or a doctor or a dentist or a lawyer, because it's so detailed and it's just so different, but it definitely was a learning curve for myself as well.
Do you think the in-helmet communication they have now for the quarterbacks is helping them, or do you think it's almost just adding another like kind of thing that they have to now adjust to?
I mean, it could be good and bad, and at this point, I always talk about, I'm a player, so I'm always going to side with the players, but some coaches talk too much. I don't want to have a coach in my ear telling me, what I'm supposed to be looking at when I'm looking at it. I want to be able to have a clear mind and process, and eliminate things on my own. So that's what the week of practice is for. But some coaches will get you in the game and they're nervous and they're talking on the headset. So meanwhile, you just got blasted the last play. Now you're sitting up here looking at safety's roll and just all this different kind of stuff. And now the receiver's asking you, well, what route do I have? Like now you have all this stuff going on and now your coach is telling you, okay, well, make sure you look at the corner. You look at the corner, and now the play clock's at 3 seconds.
Right.
I mean, it's just a lot of different things that could be a little bit too much at sometimes. Yeah.
Hey, take us through a play in terms of what the mental things you have to deal with as a quarterback, college, NFL, whatever most recent to you, because I think people don't understand how much you guys have on your plate on any given play, and that 40 seconds that you have to get ready for the next play. Just kind of go through it. In a typical situation,
just from a basic standpoint, without even calling a play, first of all, plays they sound like long sentences at this point.
Right.
It's a paragraph. But go from a 40-second clock, you get the play call, you got a little bit of crowd noise. That's why you see most quarterbacks cover their ears. For me, every process is different for whatever quarterback it is. But for me, it was always look left to right. Kind of reading like a book. I look at the left corner, look at the free safeties and see how many there are currently.
Because everything's changing.
They will move.
Yeah.
Then I look at the right corner. Then I go down to the left defensive end. I go from left to right again. See what techniques they are currently in. Is a defensive end wide? Is he a outside stand-up guy? Is he a hand in the dirt guy? I look at the left tackle, the nose tackle, the right guard, and the right defensive end. Then I look at what package we're in. Okay, is it? And I'm talking about defense only. So is it 2 linebackers? Is it 3 linebackers? Is there a sub linebacker out and there's an extra corner or nickel in?
I'm already confused.
I'm stressed out.
I'm already stressed out.
But all this happens in seconds. So
after you just got blasted by a 310-pound defensive tackle.
After you just threw an incomplete pass and everybody just booed you because the receiver ran the wrong route, but it looks like it's your fault.
Oh my God.
So all this is happening. So I'm left to right. So, top down. So safeties, corners, down to the defensive line, look at the backers, check play clock. All right, cool. Now what formation are we in? All right, how many do the safeties rotate? Where's the strong safety? Who's our threat? Okay, what's the what alignments are the defensive line in? So it's so crazy because head up is a 0, nose.
Mm-hmm.
To the right is 1.
Mm-hmm.
All even numbers to the right, all odd numbers to the left.
Right.
So I now have to make an adjustment. You already gave me the play. So will I audible based off what the defense looks like? That's my next process. So when you hear people say can or orange or whatever their signals are to change the play, that process is absolutely insane because I still haven't told you what the route concept is.
You still have to read the route.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if it's cover 1, I'm looking to the right in this concept. If it's cover 2, I might be looking to the left and it's that concept. So like the things that you have to go through mentally, which is why they get paid the big bucks, is incredible. And I can honestly tell you, you can be very gifted mentally. You'll make it. You don't have to be I played with Matt Ryan. I played with who did not have the strongest arm. Could not run out of a paper bag.
Yeah.
But he could process and eliminate.
Super smart guy. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why he was the MVP of the league when I was, with him. But there's so many things that you go through. It's incredible. I don't want to bore you with it because it's not
boring at all.
So
I'm like fascinated by
the most insightful thing I've heard in football.
There's so many different things, and then at the same time, you have to make everybody right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now what happens when the receiver runs the wrong route? Now what happens when the receiver doesn't get the right depth? 5 yards versus 10 yards is a big difference.
5 yards versus 6 yards is a big difference in the NFL, right? That's the difference between a pick six and a completed pass.
Yeah. And then you have to be confident. Okay. So I just threw an interception the last series because the receiver ran 2 yards longer than what he was supposed to.
Yeah.
But now we call that same play again. And then Dominican Sue is running down my throat. I got to figure it out. I mean, it's insane.
And then you hear people like me going, God, that guy's dumb. How did he not see that? How did he not see that? Like, the guy was right there.
Or even like we do this with young quarterbacks all the time where like and teams do it too. Like the Colts are doing it with Anthony Richardson where they, he's got 12 collegiate starts under his belt. When he comes to the NFL, he basically loses his whole rookie year. And this year he starts 7-8 games, something like that. And they're like, okay, we're going to sit him down for Joe Flacco. And now he's going back in, obviously. But now when I hear you tell me like just the process of what it goes through on like a single play,
right?
And I just look at how many young quarterbacks the NFL seems to just kind of run through constantly, like because everybody's like, there's no patience.
None.
No, because everybody's got their own clock and everything. Like, I guess that's like, I'm trying to like form this into a question, but like just what degree of patience should everybody try to have with some of these young quarterbacks who come into the league?
A lot more than what I'm seeing. I mean, it's completely just not fair. I was just in Charlotte with Bryce Young. That kid is an amazing football player. He's gone through a lot of different, trials and traumatic things, right? Always has been a winner. And when he was from California to Alabama, California is where he went to high school. But to put him in a position to save an entire organization,
right?
$1 billion industry is crazy. And just to make him do it on day one. I mean,
without a whole lot of help.
Yeah.
In terms of star players.
It's insane. I even talk about Anthony Richardson since you brought him up. His intangibles, Joe Flacco could not do anything with him.
Right.
But Joe Flacco has been in some systems long enough to understand how this process works. And so I think it's unfair. I would love to tell people, if I was a first round draft pick as a quarterback, am I chasing the money? Sure. You get an opportunity to go first round. It's a great thing to do. but you're going to go to the worst team.
Exactly.
Right.
So I would almost bet on myself to say, you know what, I'll wait to the second or third round.
That's why 95% of them fail.
Yeah.
And it has very little to do with the player himself. When Anthony Richardson was drafted, I think he had 11 starts in
like
college,
11 or 12
starts.
like that. Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? And and that's nothing against him,
Right.
but it's like to expect that guy to come in and then they start him in year one, day one. I'm like, is that insanity to you? I mean, after what you just said, and here's the thing, Brock Purdy had 57 collegiate starts. Jaden Daniels, I think, had 55.
Yeah.
Bo Nix had the most ever.
These guys come in, they are light years ahead of Anthony Richardson. I mean, light years. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
How could you expect a guy to perform in the NFL when he's had so few reps just in college alone?
Yeah, I'll even say this, which is so baffling to me, right? When I was in college, I was able to call the play. So bring everyone in the huddle, and I would have to recite what the coach told me. Okay, so be able to speak it, be able to look guys in their face and let them know, hey, look, we got this. We'll be good. Let's go to the next play. College now, no one's reading coverages. Everyone's going as fast as they can. Every quarterback is clapping. They're not calling any plays. They're looking to the sideline with big signs. And the biggest shell shock for me was when I went to San Francisco, Jim Harbaugh comes up to me with a sheet of paper, and I'm standing in the huddle as a rookie, and I'm looking at Frank Gore. I'm looking at Randy Moss. I'm looking at Crabtree. I'm looking at these Anquan Bolden, and you want me to tell them what to do?
Wow.
Where to go?
When you put it that way, it's just like
that's insane.
Yeah,
that's insane. And I'm still intimidated by them because I want their autograph. I want a picture with them.
He's a grown ass man with families, like you said. You're like, Mr. Gore, can you please run a X slant, please, or whatever? Yeah, and you're asking these young players to do this, and I'm like, this is a different ball game. I mean, you grew up watching these guys. You know, Anquan Bolden at Florida State. Yeah.
You grew up playing the video game of these people. You know, you admired them. So to tell them what to do is a whole nother level. And then at the same time, you know, to be able to communicate it. When Jim Harbaugh came to me with that big piece of paper, I had to read every single word that was on that paper. Okay, so let's go trips right, X short, 300 jet, X slant, Y looky, Z cross. I'm having to say all of this, and I got it wrong. So now Harbaugh's yelling at me in front of my idols. Yeah. What are you doing? Should I send you back to South Florida? Like it's a whole different kind of deal where it's not fair. Not fair, but
it's a lot to ask.
It's a lot to ask.
Expectations.
Never done it.
Yeah.
You know.
And you had how many starts in college?
Oh Lord, 4 years.
48.
4 years worth.
Yeah.
50 something maybe.
Yeah. For those of you who don't remember, I got some of the numbers here. You were on pace to set the Big East total yardage record. 8,433 yards passing, 52 touchdowns through the air, another 25 on the ground, another 2,000 yards rushing, almost 10,000 total, over 10,000 total yards. I mean, that's a lot. That was a lot at South Florida, and a lot of winning that you guys did.
Yeah.
Just reflect on what, that, because USF fans, especially maybe some that are new in the last 5 to 10 years that haven't seen that kind of winning, beating, like you guys were a perennial top 25 team. Yeah. And you just mentioned 9 guys that went to the NFL on that defense. I don't think they've had 9 guys go to the NFL in the past 7 years.
Yeah.
What was that era like?
I mean, it was incredible. And those 9 guys were on the team at the same time.
Yeah.
So in the same year. So it wasn't like just over a span. But, I talk about all the time. I mean, USF was in the Big East. So we had a chance to every ACC team that people are, Rutgers now.
Sorry.
No, you
I don't know why that's doing that.
So our Big East was Rutgers, West Virginia, Syracuse, and then our non-conference we beat Florida State, we beat Miami, we beat Clemson, we beat Notre Dame. We played Louisville consistently, West Virginia consistently. And the Big East was insane at the time. I mean, the guys I can mention, LaShawn McCoy went to Pittsburgh, Larry Fitzgerald went to Pittsburgh, played against them. West Virginia was Geno Smith and the running backs they had, the 3 fast guys, Noel Devine and
remember him?
Tavon Austin, Steve Slayton. I mean, there was Deion Lewis was at Pittsburgh as well. I mean, there's so many people that we played against. Ray Rice was at Rutgers. But it was an insane era. It really was. I think the Big East
what a different time.
Had a lot of credit.
And were all these guys like top recruits
No,
necessarily?
they were 3
Or
stars.
were they just like a bunch of 3 stars, 2 stars at everything that just
It was harder to earn stars back then.
But I tell people all the time is that, and this is what the magic of Jim Levin and his coaching staff.
Yeah.
They developed players.
Yes.
They talk a little bit about that development. That once you got there, it wasn't patty cake practices, and
No.
it was talk about it.
No, I mean, all the time, we talk about, South Florida built their program off of having chips on our shoulders.
Yeah.
So all of the guys that came through that program was probably under recruited, went to smaller high schools, or, Florida State didn't want you, Miami didn't want you, that kind of thing. You wanted to stay in state. So a lot of these guys are from the Tampa Bay area, St. Pete, Clearwater. I just happen to probably be the furthest up the road in Tallahassee, but we all wanted to come in and make a name for ourselves, maybe undersized at times. But we all wanted to win, and we all had something to prove. And I think that's what really helped us. But we took on the personality of our head coach. We absolutely did. He's a St. Pete kid, a grown man as he grew up here in this community. And, we really wanted to just, show people we were worth it. So when we played against, unfortunately, sometimes we played down to our competition, but when we played the Goliaths of the world, we were going to beat them, and we were going to show them on that day what we deserved and why we deserved it.
It was awesome to watch. And he should still be coaching.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Alex Scolish or anybody who came behind him, but that man was a USF lifer and had, we won't revisit why he's not there, but it was a travesty. It was a travesty on so many levels. And he was, when you turn down the Alabama job to stay at USF, all right, we got to take a break. We'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side. Fascinating conversation with BJ Daniels, USF quarterback, Super Bowl champion, author as well. We're going to get into some of the other Tampa Bay sports as well, so don't worry if you're waiting to hear some Lightning talk, Rays talks. He's a big fan of all the sports here, so we're going to get into a quick break. Back in a minute with BJ Daniels. Stay with us. Hey, it's football season, and we welcome back the Gator Report every Monday and Friday, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Just go to the website. You can contact them through there. Scott Jeeves is a tremendous, aggressive attorney and a big Gator fan, so we appreciate him supporting this show and, of course, your Florida Gators. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Whether it's personal injury or anything else, any law matter at all, it's the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business.
Golfers, listen up. The hottest new driving range craze has come to Rogers Park in Tampa. The Top Tracer range is now open 10 to 9 p.m. And just like you see on TV, every shot is tracked for yardage and accuracy, giving you immediate feedback. And best of all, you can virtually play the top courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with your buddies. Plus, great food and drink options available in the well-appointed hitting bays. Very comfortable out there. Reservations highly recommended, starting at $25 per hour, including balls. Reserve at RogersParkGolf.net. That's RogersParkGolf.net. See you there.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we're coming to you live from our South Tampa studio, brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawGroup.com. This is the Jeeves Law Group studio. We thank Scott Jeeves for being a big supporter of the show and the Gator Report that we bring you each and every Friday. Scott Carter will be on tomorrow as the Gators get set to host LSU this week, right?
Yeah, big game.
Big game. They've got LSU, Ole Miss. Then they're going to Tallahassee to spank the Florida State Seminoles.
Correct. You would
maybe.
be correct. No, there's no maybe.
Maybe.
There's no maybe.
Oh, it's big changes at FSU. This is the answer.
Did 50 new players suddenly come in? Wait, hold on. You said there was new changes. Randy Shannon's calling the defense, who also should be gone too. Oh, okay. Cool.
Somebody's got to do it. They have to keep somebody around to do it. What a disaster. What an absolute abject disaster. We're not going to talk about that. No. But our thanks to Scott Jeeves. And if you have any legal issues whatsoever, they'll give you a free case evaluation. That's pretty cool. So get those questions answered. Just go to the website, JeevesLawGroup.com, JEEVESLawGroup.com. And send them an email, call them, and they'll give you that free case evaluation and see if they can help you out. All right, so the Lightning will play. By the way, BJ will be back momentarily. It's just taking a little break, so he'll be back in our next segment. The Lightning have a huge game tonight. Interesting situation having 6 days off in the middle of the season after you've lost 4 in a row, by the way. And the Flyers lost. The last one was that was a bad game. I mean, Vasi was good. They were, they just were out of sorts. They couldn't complete passes. They couldn't, sit down, jump right in. They just couldn't do anything right. And that's a lot of it was because Pointer was out, and we're not sure Pointer's going to be back tonight. And it kind of screws up the lines, and it's just different. And they don't have the depth that they once had. When you lose a Stamkos or lose a Pointer or lose a Kucherov for a game, they've always seemed to be able to play well, but that did not look good. And 6 days off, maybe they'll be better tonight against a Winnipeg team that's won 15 of 16, hottest start in the history of the league. They're leading the league in goals for at 4.56 and leading the league in goals against at 2.813. So that's good, right? Yeah,
and Hellebuck's off to like one of the best starts we've ever seen by a goalie in NHL history, I believe.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
So, yeah, that's going to be a tough – and 6 days off. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like when you're in the middle of the season, you almost want to keep rolling. But at the same time, like they had a 4-game losing streak, and that one against Philly, there's no energy.
It was ugly.
It was
flat.
There was just no energy, very flat. And I'm starting to see some things that I don't really like about this team at the moment, and it really comes down to the fact that they just do not have the scoring depth. Like outside of that first line operates sometimes like a power play when they're out there. Like they're just like they're passing it around and everything. They get a lot of shots.
That's with Gensel, Point, and Kucherov.
Right. And then you saw what it looked like when Point was not in the lineup. It was like, wow. And it's like the second line will pop in every now and then, but the bottom two lines, it's just nothing right now.
It's nothing.
And it's like it's so weird because this is not a Lightning team that we're used to seeing. Generally, like when you look at like the advanced numbers, they're grading out pretty well defensively. Vasilevsky is grading it obviously because he's healthy now and he looks like one of the best goaltenders in the world again all of a sudden. But then you go to the offense, the power play is broken at the moment.
Whoa, awful.
It's just not. Haven't been able to figure that out yet, and we knew that was going to take time. But they look like it. They are right now an average team. They are literally 7-7. They are 16th out of 32 in the points. They are the definition of average right now, and now they welcome in the league's best team after this 6-day break. So I think it's going to be tough sledding tonight. And I was looking for updates too. I saw something that Vasilevsky wasn't even on the ice this morning.
Well, he's definitely playing.
He might. Tonight. I'm assuming he's going to play after 6 days off. He might just have the morning off. But I saw that was Johansson, and then the e-bug was in that.
The E-Bug was in that?
Yeah, the E-Bug.
Who is the E-Bug?
Kyle Conan.
Kyle Cohn, that's right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we don't need to see that tonight.
No.
But
and like you said, Point was not out there, so it looks like it's Hagel, Sorelli, Kucherov is going to be the top line, and Gensel slides down with Paul and Cam Atkinson.
Yikes! Wow. Are you a big Lightning fan, hockey fan?
You know, it's funny because I run into you all the time at the arena.
Yeah. I know you're there all the time, but you're also in a channel club enjoying all the free food and drinks. So I don't know if you're there for the social part of it or
what. I love it. I am.
It is a great show, isn't it?
It's a great show. I think the Vinniks have done a great job.
Yeah.
How they put everything together. How they even show love to the community as well. I think is a huge part. So I definitely enjoy all of it.
Yeah, as far as a sporting event goes, hockey players, football players, they tend to love hockey.
Yeah. I just really, I'm trying to figure out and understand all the rules, but I love when people get hit. That's one of my things.
The stuff that they do on skates.
Oh, insane. I can't do it. I can skate forward, but how fast they skate backwards, sideways, they pivot. I definitely could not, and I definitely would embarrass myself if I ever tried.
And the hand-eye coordination,
it's insane.
It's insane.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't grow up playing hockey either. I grew up in South Florida.
Yeah.
And so I've learned everything on the fly, covering this team for 27 years.
Wow.
And it's just, to me, the most extraordinary thing I've ever seen, pardon me, I know football players go through a lot physically, but watching a team win a Stanley Cup and play literally every other night.
Yeah.
With that type of physicality, and they come into the dressing room, and I'm watching Marty St. Louis, take off his skate and his toes like this big, and he's having to have it drained every game just to play.
Wow.
Guys literally having piece of their ears hanging off them as they're, just been stitched on as they're doing post-game interviews. I'm like, and they're going to do this in 2 nights, like 2 nights, they're going to do this again.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you that I'd walk out of there going, they're done. They can't. They're not coming back from this. An overtime loss in game 6 or whatever it is, just complete, battle royale. And then they come back 2 nights later and do it again and win a game. And I'm like,
the NFL play, they go through, like, what do they call it? Everything's like a car crash during a football game.
Absolutely.
And on a Sunday, and then they make everybody have to play a Thursday game.
Oh my God.
And it's like, and everybody complains.
You ever do you did a turnaround Thursday?
Absolutely.
What's that like for your body? And the guys in
it's insane. When I was with Seattle, we did it all the time because we were mostly primetime games when we were, winning and successful. But, even practice, like Pete Carroll would not allow us to wear pads. If we were doing something that short, we would come out as a walkthrough the next day, watch film, work out, but then we'd have a day off on that Tuesday still. But we'd come in and just get treatment and things like that. But that Tuesday, Wednesday, that Thursday game, we're just wearing T-shirts. We're just trying to walk.
Yeah, there's no way you can
mentally process it. I think this is crazy when I say this. People don't believe me. The year we won the Super Bowl against the Broncos, Pete Carroll did not allow us to wear pads the entire playoffs.
Never practiced in pads.
We did not practice in pads at all. So the mental process of just walking through or going through what a tackle looks like and envisioning that and, the system and the plays and things like that. You know what to do because you're on that level. Now it's just mentally processing and going through it. So just continuing to bang against each other is not going to be positive. It's not going to help. It's kind of counterproductive at the same time, which is, I think is, incredible for me to say out loud.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you went to the Super Bowl and you guys didn't practice in pads? It makes no sense, but it does.
Because it's all mental at that
Keeps
point.
Us fresh.
Yeah. What's the biggest hit you ever took and who hit you?
Well, unfortunately, it was a Florida State guy that did it. But the funny thing is, it was in high school.
The biggest hit you had was in high school?
It was in high school. Gino Hayes.
Gino Hayes, yeah.
Gino Hayes, yeah. We played Madison County. I went to Lincoln High School. I'm under center. I turn around, do a quick toss. So I don't even have the ball.
Right.
Okay, then I turn around and blindside. Here comes Gino Hayes, NFL future.
Yeah.
Obviously NFL linebacker that just completely depletes me.
Oh, my
helmet
God.
comes off, and I think my adrenaline was rushing so bad I continued to play. But when the game was over, I had to take a long seat. My dad checked on me and said, "Yeah, well, you're a freshman. Welcome to high school football."
Oh my God.
Varsity football at that. But yeah, Gino Hayes. So I'm thankful I can say he made it to the NFL. So it's not like I was some big wuss that got hit by a guy that works at, no offense, but McDonald's.
I don't know if there's a place you prefer to get hit necessarily, because I'm assuming getting hit it hurts. It all hurts. But like there's such an emphasis on like, the head to head, the helmet to helmet, and obviously with the concussions,
Right.
they have the Guardian caps now and all that.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest, when I'm watching it, and granted, I'm talking from someone who's never played football, never taken a hit. I'm not built that way.
Yeah.
I'll just admit that.
Mm-hmm.
But when I watched players get hit, like in their legs and everything,
yeah,
like that to me, like looks almost more devistating, if that makes sense. What do you think? Like, what's the
get your knee blown up?
Yeah. What's the difference between all that?
Yeah. If it's your knee, I broke my ankle, but I guess I can say the ones that hurt the most are the ones you don't see. The ones you can't prepare for. I joke all the time, like when you're running down the middle of the field and all of a sudden the room gets kind of dark.
Right.
Yeah, that's when you're about to get smacked. So the ones you don't see are the ones that kind of catch you off guard. And it plays tricks on your mind. For example, a quarterback that gets happy feet in the pocket, he's worried about what's happening behind him, the things he can't see.
Yeah.
And that's why those left tackles, if you're a right-handed quarterback, get paid so much. That blind side is very valuable and important, but the ones you don't see, because you can kind of duck and dodge and find ways to get out of certain things. But when that room gets dark, a lot of times you don't.
The room gets dark. Like, what do you? Is that after you get hit?
No,
concussed.
So there are times you could be running down the middle of the field and all of a sudden, zoom. And I don't know how to explain it, but it's kind of like you got a free safety here, a linebacker here. You're looking this way. And it just feels very.
You feel it coming.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
Wow,
it's coming. Not the legs don't bother me as much, but and football's changed so much. I mean, there's so many rules and protections that are now some things I don't even agree with at all. But yeah, when the room gets dark, and for me, that's me running down the middle of the field, quarterback draw, and all of a sudden. You got a right defensive lineman you can't see coming this way. You got a free safety who runs a 4.2 running down the middle of your throat, and a linebacker. Like things start to kind of just get kind of foggy for you before you get hit. Like you kind of know, okay, maybe I should get down at this point. Maybe I should slide. Maybe I should just fall. But yeah, that's what I mean by the room getting dark. Yeah.
That's why I almost like marvel at everybody is amazed when they watch Lamar Jackson play and everything, right? Because it looks different.
Nobody gets out a lot of stuff too.
He gets out of so much stuff, but he also he's not afraid of contact. I think every time he goes into it, he's not afraid. And even Josh Allen, and he's built like a truck, obviously.
Yep.
And you think in theory he could take on those hits, but I watch those guys move, and I'm like, it looks insane.
Yeah.
It looks like you have to be literally insane to play that position sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How good is he?
Lamar?
Yeah,
he's amazing.
Is he the best in the league? You think?
From a physical stature, yes.
Yeah.
I absolutely believe that. I mean, I don't see anyone else that can run like him.
Hardest to defend.
Flick of the wrist.
Yeah.
I mean, when the play breaks down, and that's the thing that makes him special. It's not, the drop backs or the, how quick he can get it out, but it's literally what happens when we get him right, when we get it right.
Yeah.
When the defense covers it, then he does his own thing. That's what you can't prepare for, and that's what makes him special.
What's the best receiver? You mentioned Randy Moss. Best receiver you ever threw to?
Oh Lord,
or seen play?
Right, I can't disrespect
in person
Randy, but let me see. Terrell Owens came down here once, just to work out when he wanted to get ready for the Bucks.
Oh, that's right.
I was actually throwing to him to get him ready for that.
Really?
Yeah.
How old was he was he then? Like 37, 38?
He was in his 40s.
His 40s.
Yeah.
He said 40s. He could still run a 4.3. At 50 years old or 40, whatever it was.
He can still run.
I remember
I'll be really honest with you, he can still run.
I remember he was in remember when there was fan-controlled football, I think it was what it was called, that little arena type thing?
Yep.
And I think he was on the same team with Manziel.
He was.
And he was 40, and Terrell was 45, 46 years old or something, and he was leading the league in receiving over there. And I know it's fan-controlled football, but still, he's one of the biggest freaks you've probably ever seen in the NFL.
Oh, absolutely. And then back to the receiver question. I mean, okay, let's start with San Fran. Okay, Anquan Bolden, you got Randy Moss, Crabtree. Seattle is Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, Sidney Rice, Percy Harvin.
Percy Harvin.
Yeah, Percy Harvin. In Atlanta, it was Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu.
Julio. When I was working for the Falcons and going to practice, and he didn't practice much, but when he did, and in game day, I've never seen a man that big move so fast and change direction and so quick. Like he was just like, I would just marvel at that. Yeah. Like he even running a comeback, he just stop on a dime and he's there. And he's like, the defensive backs are like, like,
and they're 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah, no chance.
Yep.
And he was legit, 6'4", 225.
Yep.
Yeah, like Calvin Johnson, like
physical specimen.
Calvin Johnson was like the freakiest
and we had to watch it 2 times against the Bucs every single year. And you
go for 250.
No, literally, Julio Jones had 270 yards that one game against the Bucs with 13 catches, and it's I don't know how you stop it. But yeah, he's probably the most dominant, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, probably the 3 most dominant guys of this generation that I probably grew up watching.
And I think my favorite athlete when I was with the Giants, I played with DeAndre Hopkins with the Texans, but Odell is a real athlete.
Twitch.
He can do it all: jump, run, catch. He can play multiple sports: football, basketball, baseball, soccer. I mean, he can literally. He's the kid that you want to pick on the playground. When you got
number one choice on it. Doesn't matter what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you saw him play some of those other sports?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely. So pick up basketball is something we're not supposed to be doing.
Right. Of course.
Everyone does it in the off season. Everyone.
You can't stop you guys from playing basketball.
Right.
Yeah. And you played against him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you're a pretty damn good player yourself.
I'm okay.
Yeah, you're pretty good. Get it from your dad. Yeah. Yeah, that's that. So you ain't gonna pick one? You just mentioned 30. Give me top 5.
Well, they all do. Okay.
They all do different things.
That I played with.
Yeah.
Okay. Not in any order. Odell's there. Julio Jones. Percy Harvin might be the fastest person I've ever played with. And
really?
I say that because a 4.3 is a 4.3, sure.
Yeah.
4.2, whatever. But how fast he gets to it is amazing.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
He was so quick.
Oh, yeah. Percy, obviously.
T.O.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't play with T.O.,
but you saw him at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, throw him with T.O.
And Randy Moss?
Even at his age. Randy's definitely up there. That's number 1. I have to give that to him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Anquan,
I saw Randy at FSU. And
did you see him play basketball as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he would come out he'd be because he couldn't play. He was I think he was a prop 48. Back in the day,
he was,
if you didn't get your scores, you had to sit around. You couldn't play on the team, but you could practice.
Yeah.
So Randy's out there just mossing FSU defensive backs every game, every day in practice.
Yep.
He's far and above the best player. Can't play.
Yeah.
And he's going out, and then he went to play basketball on the basketball team. He's like, can't play second, third T scout team, and he's just dunking on people. And he's like the best player out there, and they had a great team then.
Yeah,
he was sick. It was well, stupid that was back in the day. You didn't get your test score, you can't play. He's literally the best guy out there. Crazy stuff. All right, you want to take a break? Get your dad on the phone?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We're efforting Jim Levitt too. We'll see if Jim can jump on with us as well. We'll see what happens in this second hour. We have no idea what's happening, but it's going to be fun. BJ Daniels is with us here, former USF quarterback, Super Bowl champion, author of the book Beyond the Red Zone. Get it on Amazon right now. It is a terrific read. Back in 3. Stay with us. We've had a lot of fun with the monthly birthstones, and October is no different, where the birthstones are opal and tourmaline. All the colors of the evening sky are captured in the mysterious shifting hues of opal, and tourmaline has a color palette for every mood. Did you know that opals have been cherished for centuries, associated with royalty and good fortune? Tourmaline was once thought to protect against evil and enhance spiritual connection, adding to its allure. And during the 40th anniversary, you can find a special selection of this precious gemstone, from stunning rings and necklaces to elegant earrings and bracelets. Of course, Steve Weintraub handpicks every piece for its brilliance and quality. The expert staff will help you find the perfect gift, whether it's for a loved one, a special occasion, or a treat for yourself. Visit the Gold and Diamond Source today, where you'll always find the perfect gift. It's more than jewelry, it's love. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the JP Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. They'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance. Make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799. ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right, that's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go! Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here, special edition. We're in our soft opening of our new studio here in South Tampa, and our first victim of our in-studio guest is the great B.J. Daniels, former USF quarterback, Super Bowl champion, author of Beyond the Red Zone. Pick that up on Amazon Books right now, and it's a great read. Absolutely. We'll talk some more football. But right now, we're going to do something. This is all personal for me. This is all personal for me. I hope you guys enjoy it, but we're going to chat with his dad, a longtime friend of mine, Bruce Daniels, who I used to play pickup basketball with every day for 7 years, and he used to abuse me. And it just absolutely relentless. What's up, Bruce? How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, man.
I can't tell you how much I miss that, playing basketball with you guys. Not you going by me, Mike. I can't even try to grab you and I still can't get you. Losing every game to you. I don't miss that, but I just miss the camaraderie and playing ball for an hour and a half every day. It was so fun. How are you, partner?
I'm doing great. John, don't sell yourself short. You a ball player. You a real ball. In fact, you were a good athlete. So don't sell yourself short. You were competitive.
I appreciate that. None of my listeners are going to believe you, but keep talking.
No. You really were. You had a real nice game. You were a competitor. You were a tough guy, mentally tough, physically tough. great shooter. You probably got you can shoot the ball pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. Of course, we played when there was no 3-pointer in high school, right? I could have got an extra maybe 4 or 5 points on the Av, right?
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah.
And you played college. You played college ball,
correct.
So you were a baller. Great 3-point shot. Great ball handler. I still think you carried. I still think you carried it way too many times. You can't.
I did.
I heard he's a dribbling machine.
He was. He's a really good ball handler. Incredible.
Yeah, I did. I own it now, but back then I wouldn't have owned that. You're right. Yeah, I walked around with the ball pretty much.
That's a beautiful thing. It was so fun. So what was this little tyke like as a young kid? Yeah, turn your volume down and there you go. We get a little feedback. What was he like growing up? When did you know he was going to be a superstar athlete?
Like 6 years old. We put him in a flag football program on the north side of town, Meridian Park, and actually he was too young to play with that age group. But a friend of mine who knew the family, he was able to talk the director into possibly letting BJ play a year earlier, and he was doing some things at that age that was, I just expected. And of course, I'm not one of those dads that do all that bragging and boasting about my kid. I kind of let what he does on the field and the court, is a baseball field, kind of do it for him. But it just his motor skills, his hand-eye coordination was a little above most 6 or 7 years old, and then not only just catching the ball, but his arm strength as far as throwing a baseball, football, just any kind of ball, was a little further ahead than most kids his age. Now, to say I thought he was going to go to the NFL back then, no, I didn't think that. But I did think that his skill set allowed him to probably play with older kids at that time and probably more mature. But I didn't see what he became, as we see him today, or as far as college or league. I just noticed that back then.
Bruce is joining us here. This is BJ's father. What is your proudest moment of your son that you witnessed athletically or maybe not athletically?
I think the idea that he reached the pinnacle of the highest sport that you could play, which is a professional sport. I think that most kids desire that they play on that level. And the fact that he was able to accomplish that goal was kind of my proudest moment. And I think the other thing that I'm proud of is once that moment came along, I think the game for him as far as his physical, mental side came after his career was over in the NFL and the pros, because that's when the real learning started. When you're a successful athlete, you tend to, relish in all the glory days, but the real life comes when, you have those valley experiences, and that's when the life part kicks in, and that's when the growth takes place. So I was excited about him reaching that pinnacle, and then I was more excited when it was all over that he had acquired appetite of, things didn't quite go the way he thought it wanted to go in terms of longevity in the league, but it was enough time there that he gained some valuable experiences. And those experiences allowed him to have success, and in many cases, some failures. And those failures allowed him to do the things he's doing now with the book, mentoring kids, public speaking, because those things are longevity. Those things that stay with you regardless of whatever career you have. So I think those things are the things I'm most proud of.
BJ, what would you say about your dad? What did you learn from him that drove you the most?
He was always supportive.
You might have to turn your phone off. We're getting a little bit of reverb there.
Okay.
There you go. I want to make sure we hear you.
Yeah, he was always just supportive. One thing I can definitely say is no matter what I was doing or what sport I played, I just remember him, taking me to play it against sports, or B&B Sporting Goods back in Tallahassee. And,
B&B.
We're getting the socks, we're getting the wristbands, we're getting you ready for, game day. And So that was one of the things I admired and appreciated about that, just the support there. But then at the same time, and I'm not just saying this because he's on the phone now, but, I brag about the fact that the model of a man, how he treated my mother, how he raised my little sisters, how he, disciplined me or treated me or educated me, throughout life. I call him to this day and ask him probably the stupidest questions in the world, and he'll still answer the phone and answer them. And he'll still, do things for me that, I really want to, take with me and move forward and pass along one day to my own legacy. So, very thankful and appreciative that I know everyone doesn't have a father figure in their life. And at the same time, I'm witnessing it with my friends. I have friends and teammates who call Maurice Spates, who coaches, with USF basketball now, won a championship with the Golden State Warriors, and national championship with Florida. He calls my dad, almost as much as I do. He calls him Pop. And it's one of those things where people in the community see how I was raised and the things and the tools that I gathered, but they know it didn't come just out of thin air. It came from somewhere. So to see my friends and my peers kind of gravitate towards him as well is really cool to see.
How does that make you feel, Pop?
Well, I'm a servant leader, and that servant leadership comes with a price tag. You don't get to choose who, when, or where you serve people. It's just part of your ministry that you serve people. And so, if those guys need me in that form of fashion, I try to be available for them. But it's just my nature to serve the community and serve young men who need assistance. And believe it or not, they probably realize I learned a great deal from serving them as much as they probably learned from me, because I'm much older now and get older, and sometimes you lose touch with the younger community, young men or whatever. But they share their stories and their experiences, and it's different than how I was raised. It's different than how I view the world, and so I enjoyed just the camaraderie of guys reaching out, or young ladies reaching out to me for any source of inspiration, motivation, or even when they have downtime. So it's a great experience. I enjoy working with those guys and young people.
And you're the head basketball coach at Leon now?
I'm the head coach of Leon High School. I'm still coaching, John. I still
How about that?
have a great admiration for young people. We played last night. We're in a tip-off class. We have a game tonight. I still love it. I'm going to do it until they run me out. It will probably be real soon, but
well, I'm coaching my stepson's 11 and under team, and I think we're 0-4 this year. So I might need to get some plays from you and try to figure out how to break the press, because we're not doing a very good job of that right now.
I tell you what, winning has its consequences, and so does the losing. And both of them, at the end of the day, you got to put more of those kids in trying to win. I'm sure you are inspiration to those kids and just being available to them.
I hope so. I don't know how good a job I'm doing. A quick story. We're up 14-4 in the second quarter, and we hadn't won a game yet. And I call timeout, just get everybody kind of settled down. And my guys are looking at me going, we're going to do our party hips when we win this game. They're already practicing their celebration, showing me their party hips. I said, what the hell are you talking about? You ain't won squat yet. And the other team went on a 10-0 run.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
so valuable lessons learned, right?
Oh yeah. I've been coaching Leon for almost 18 years, and I still we can get our doors blown out. The most important question my kids have is, which fast food restaurant we're going to eat at? Popeyes? I'm like, you guys don't deserve to eat ever.
Oh, my gosh. Us old heads, man. It's just a different world. It's a different world.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Bruce, what was it like watching him play at Doak Campbell Stadium and win that game against FSU?
It was surreal.
Yeah.
It was a real thing because I started working at Florida State in 1985.
Right.
I was there with the Bobby Bowden, road killer days. I mean, you talking about Hassan Jones and Pablo Lopez and Sammy Smith and Deion Sanders, all those guys were just getting to Florida State. And I fell in love with Renegade, the horse, the whole nine.
Everything.
And I was just a diehard Seminole. And so with BJ coming to the world, I kind of thought that eventually he would be a Seminole at some point because he was very, Charlie Ward was his guy.
Yep.
Charlie Ward was the guy. I mean, that's the path. I mean, all those media days. I don't know if we had the media days at Dick Howser Stadium.
Yep.
Where they would have a football team there. We signed autographs, all that kind of stuff. And BJ had a full Seminole outfit in uniform.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I got it from Walmart or Kmart or some mark, but he had the helmet, the shoulder pads, the jersey. And I had him wear that stuff, and to the media day. Then we actually went to Doak Cameron Stadium, and I took videos of him running around the field, and we was imagining when he, become a Seminole and all that kind of good stuff. And so fast forward to now, the year that Jim Levitt put Florida State on the schedule, and just so happened that's the year that BJ was at USF. And I'm like, okay, so how is all this going to work? My loyalty is to my son, of course. But we get with a pair of teams that I have followed and admired for a number of years. So, of course, you got to go with blood. And so the rest is history, without being long-winded. Yeah, it was just a surreal kind of feeling. And even the fan base, the people we know in Tallahassee,
right.
They were all like, yeah, I'll pull up a BJ, but I want the Seminoles to win.
Right.
The whole it was kind of a crazy.
Yeah, I was in the same boat that day myself. A lot of us were, but it all worked out in the end. Hey, Bruce, listen, thanks for taking a quick moment. Good luck with the Leon team, and appreciate your friendship over the years and the lessons I learned from you and your son. Watching him do great things has been one of the joys of my life, and just having him here today is really a lot of fun. So I thank you, and thank you, BJ, too, as well. Thanks, partner.
All right, John. Thanks for your good work.
Right.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, let's get going back in the Wayback Machine. You know what? I sit here and I say, I don't know if the audience is going to enjoy that. They do, because they're fathers and sons out there. A lot of them that listen to this. Everybody can relate to this. Unfortunately, I mean, we don't have sons that have done what you've done, but we can all relate to it, in some ways. So it's a father-son thing, and it means so much. You'll be a hell of a dad.
I hope so.
You'll be a hell of a dad.
One day.
Okay.
One day.
All right, let's take another quick break. When we come back, we'll get into some Rays stuff. Since you're a baseball player, you have questions of me of where they're going to play.
Absolutely.
Oh, I got answers.
Okay. Well, I want,
but not the big answer. I got answers, but not the big answer. So we'll get to that. We're brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance, who bring you the FSU report each and every Friday. So we'll talk with Pat Burnham tomorrow about what's coming up for Florida State. It's been an ugly year. Woo, it's been bad. But we'll do that. If you need any insurance help whatsoever, the best customer service. You can get it from Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Let them shop your insurance around. If you have any questions, you're dealing with an insurance company right now on your claim, they'll be happy to help you out. Just let them just price your insurance, and maybe they can get you a better deal. 813-877-7799. Back in 3. Stay with us.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido is not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best in the business. Hey, if you love golf and the new Top Tracer virtual golf experiences that have taken the golf world by storm, well, you're going to love the new Top Tracer range at Rogers Park in Tampa. It combines the fun of competing virtually on the world's greatest courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with an outdoor range experience to track your ball, not just hitting it to that net. I love it. They have great brand new spacious covered bays, huge fans blowing down. It's very enjoyable even when it's hot. So grab your golf buddies. Great price, $25 an hour up to $45 at peak times. Balls are included, and you can also play the new short course for just $9. It's all at rogersparkgolf.net. To reserve a bay, go to rogersparkgolf.net. I'll see you there.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to a special edition of the JP Peterson Show here in our new South Tampa digs here. And our first in-studio guest is the great BJ Daniels, former USF quarterback, record-setting quarterback, Super Bowl champ with the Seattle Seahawks, and author of Beyond the Red Zone, which you can pick up at Amazon Books. Had to be reordered, sold out so quick.
Yeah.
So it's a great read about not just a memoir of his athletic exploits, but also about mental health and dealing with struggles that we all deal with. So pick that up. It's called Beyond the Red Zone. BJ, what have you learned from being an author? That's whole experience.
It's very vulnerable.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people in my business.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. I mean, the whole idea behind it was just to, help people. A lot of the times people look at me as far as the Super Bowl, the accolades, the, playing college ball or people knowing my name. But, being held at gunpoint, breaking my ankle. My little sister had cancer at 22. My grandmother died of cancer. Like, those are all human things.
Yeah.
Those are all real things. You're not knowing where your next paycheck's going to come from, what your transition looks like outside of football. So those are real life things that I really want people to be encouraged about, to know, like, you know what? This big skyscraper building that we want to reach, where the penthouse is what we call success. I mean, things happen. You go to the 50th floor, you think you made it. You're not even close. You're not even halfway there. Then you get knocked down to the basement. My basement experience is being a high school head coach during COVID, washing uniforms, on a Friday night at 2:00 in the morning, trying to figure out, okay, is coaching my next career, my next profession? And those things happen after I met President Obama, after we went to the Super Bowl, after, all those, highlights and experiences. So, just showing my human side, and hopefully, that it helps other people understand, like, I've had dark moments. I've tried to figure it out, and, you just got to keep, pushing forward. And, I've played football everywhere. I went to Canada and even played, so things happen, but you just got to, keep moving.
What of all the lessons in that book, give us one. And you said you didn't know where your next paycheck coming from. And I think a lot of people including myself.
Mhm.
You know, I've been very much in your shoes, and one minute you're doing a hit with Bob Costas on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
You know, a few months later, you know, you're being let go, and you don't know what your next move is,
Yeah.
and your entire industry is changing, and there are no jobs,
Yeah.
and it's just you're going through a recession. There have been some really, really dark moments. How did you handle that? What advice would you give to people?
Yeah, you know, just to keep, and it sounds cliche, but just to keep trying and continue to move forward. One thing I can definitely tell you about my life is with each moment, each level that I've been on, each opportunity that I've been given, when I don't move in my purpose, things don't work well. It just doesn't go right. And what I mean by that is I know for a fact my purpose now is to serve and give and help people. So when we beat Florida State and I'm cocky, arrogant, and conceited, I get knocked down. Something happens. You know, when
Next week you got held up at gunpoint.
the very next week, you know, things happen where, you know, and I talk about, you know, the ceiling can save you. So once you get too big for the room, once you don't move in your purpose, you hit your head on the ceiling, you get knocked down. You're not allowed to make it to the next level until you've actually put yourself in a position that is humble, respectful, and the purpose is to do it for somebody else. You know, so every time I've moved in that purpose to give, serve, and do it for someone else, my elevator has continued to climb up this big skyscraper building.
Funny how that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's one thing I've learned too, is if you know, the worst thing you could do is turn inward, you know, and say, you know, you got to say, I'll figure it out. But it's like, look at outside of yourself and you start serving other people and serving a bigger purpose.
Yeah.
And that'll lead you probably where you need to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do something of a higher level. I want to talk a little bit about college football because you've been a coach at USF, you've been a player. So I have this crazy notion that we can fix this thing.
All right.
Because it's broken, right?
Yes, it is.
It's very broken, right? So in a nutshell, what I would do is I would go back to, I'd have 6 major conferences.
Okay.
6 major conferences, 14, 16 teams. You'd pretty much encapsulate. There's 132 D1 teams now, and I think you probably could cut it at 96, somewhere in there. Yeah. And I would have a 6th kind of conference, which is those other lower teams that are so-called relegated.
Yeah.
You know, and can move up into the bigger ones from a geographic region. And I would go back to those 5 power conferences, go back to the Pac-12, the Big 12, or what used to be the Big 8, and rekindle all those rivalries. And, you know, stop the silliness of Cal and Stanford being in the ACC, so the USC being in the Big 10. That's silly.
Right.
It's dumb. And go back to traditional geographic rivalries, because we don't need to be spending ridiculous amounts of money on the USC volleyball team traveling to Columbus 4 times. You know, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable.
Right.
So let's go back to these geographic rivalries and conferences. And I would cap coaches' salaries at $5 million, head coaches' salaries, because this is spiraling out of control in another 3 years, that, you know, because they just keep paying more and more and more to get that W.
Yeah.
And these huge buyouts, you know, for Jimbo Fisher to walk away with $72 million. I mean, that money should be going to players and other, you know, it's just silly.
Yeah.
The system is broken. So cap those at $5 million, reasonable buyouts for assistant coaches as well. I would cap their salaries at $1 million. And by the way, you're capping player salaries too here. I would have individual salaries for scholarship athletes. And by the way, it's just football and basketball. I would take those out of the quote, you know, athletic of the colleges and basically be booster organizations. So you basically, they wouldn't be subject to Title IX.
Okay.
And where Title IX is, you know, where the females and women's sports are getting served, is all that money is paying for those sports. Gotcha. And paying for all those travels and paying those athletes a stipend as well, because they deserve it. But this brings sanity to the whole thing. Yeah. I would give 2 transfers during your time.
Okay.
2 freebies.
Okay.
The second one, you have to sit out the first 4 games of the next year. I think you got to have some penalty that will make you think about just not doing it willy-nilly.
Right. Yeah.
And if you need a third, there's a hardship committee that will look at that.
Right.
Because I think player mobility, I think that needs to be there. And I would take the NIL money and limit it to a fact, because right now we having major sponsors don't know whether to give it to the athletes or give it to the programs. And the programs are going to need money to pay the athletes.
Right.
So that money is going to come back to the athletes anyway, but it's generated and controlled in a way where you can max it out and the players get more money.
stop all this individual silliness of NIL. It just gets a little crazy. I would allow some of it, like a few thousand, but for the most part, the big deals have to go through the collective.
Right.
And it's all coming back to the players anyway, and they're going to make more money.
Yeah.
And then redo all the television deals, negotiate it as one, and you'll get double the money, which will bring more money back to the players as well. So I think it gets rid of all the craziness in the transfer portal. I mean, it's still going to be there,
Right.
but it's not, you can transfer every year. So that's just a basic background. If you were the czar of college football, what would you do?
Well, that was a little more than basic. That was well thought
out. We got to deal with that. We got to deal with the money. We got to deal with portability. We got to deal with coaches' salaries.
Yeah.
Things I think are broken.
No, all that makes sense. Especially with the portal situation. Those, you had to think about it back in the day.
Yeah.
You absolutely had to really consider your options. And, I also will tell you that the portal situation for me is just kind of a societal issue. What does the other side of hard look like? How happy would you be when you've gone through something and then survived it or have overcome it? I think about all the quarterbacks at Alabama, all the guys that made it to the NFL. I mean, they all were starters.
Yeah.
They all were great quarterbacks. They were all the running backs that they've had, that long stint. I think those guys waited their turn and they were able to reap the rewards of it. There are some guys that just transfer and leave and go wherever they want to, and the grass is not always green on the other side. And I've always said this even as a high school recruit. When people ask me advice about going to college and picking a school, go where they love you, not where they like you. Because at the end of the day, for my position, you're going to throw an interception, you're going to fail a test, your girlfriend's going to break up with you, something bad is going to happen. But will this university still stand behind you and support you? Will the coaches still care for you as their son or daughter or as your own? So, a lot of times, players just want to leave and go because, they see all the glitz, the glam, and the glory. But you're going to go over there and compete for a job, with a guy that's been in the system already. And then once you get there, you're expected to perform just like a first-year quarterback in the NFL. No disrespect to DJ, but DJ hasn't been in the Florida State system.
Yeah.
I don't think he, I'd never expected him to go in and just be the guy and take him to a national championship. I mean, there's so many different dynamics in that locker room. He doesn't know. He's having to learn. It's his first time going through it. He doesn't probably know where Guthrie's is in Tallahassee. I mean,
that's crazy. It's crazy.
There's just so many things he has to get used to. He doesn't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
The portal thing is a very deep conversation for me.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think players just look at it as an all, it's a solution to everything, and it's so not.
No.
And I think you have to make them think a little bit harder whether they really, really want to do it.
Right.
And it's not good for college football overall. I think the game itself is not as good because kids aren't in the, it used to be you'd play 2 years in a system, learning it before you ever got on the field.
Right.
Now we're expecting, DJ Uyangalele to come in there and master this system and know how the receiver's body language is and when they come out of their break and all that stuff, and that takes years, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think when I played at USF, I earned the respect of my teammates because they got a chance to see me in the dorm rooms, go to the cafeteria with me, go through a whole summer workout. Had already been through a season of spring training and all that. Even my Florida State experience, I had already been on campus for a year. I was a redshirt freshman. So it wasn't unfamiliar to me, So I think I was already prepped and ready and primed to be in a position to move forward and be successful. But, when you go from school to school, I mean, you're just I don't see where the benefit is unless, you're chasing a dollar, which most of these kids are, or you're just disgruntled because the coach yelled at you and told you, you read that route wrong. It's your fault. But you don't want to be held accountable. So
it's really weird because like even yesterday there was an example of this where I don't know if you're familiar with Thomas Castellanos, who was the Boston College quarterback.
Okay.
So he was originally at UCF. He transferred to Boston College. He started the last 2 years, and this week Bill O'Brien said that, hey, we're going to start whoever the backup is. And then he announced that, Thomas was upset about it and he stepped away from the team and wasn't going to travel this week to the game. Right. And then the report comes out yesterday. Now he's entering the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Like just like that. He gets told he's not starting, and he's into the portal immediately.
Yeah.
And then to the point of what you said about, like DJ, and for example, everybody thinks he's going to come in and it's going to be so like seamless and everything.
Yeah.
I bring up UCF as an example this year because they've started 4 quarterbacks this year, and they brought in KJ Jefferson from Arkansas, and everybody knows it's all public how much these guys are making now.
Yeah.
And fans have these expectations that, okay, he's making all this money, he's going to come in and be great. He was benched after 5 games.
Yeah.
The other quarterback that they brought into the portal was benched after the next 2 starts. And then they started a true freshman who's 17 years old.
Yeah.
Didn't work out. And now they're on quarterback number 4,
Wow.
who is perceived as the least talented guy because he was the 4th-string quarterback.
Right.
But you know what? He was in the system for a whole year longer than all these other guys.
Yep.
He came in, he puts up 52 points in his first game and then scores 31 last week against an Arizona State team that has 7 wins.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, how's this happen? And I think it's to your point. He's been in the system.
Right.
He's been there, like you said.
Yeah.
And that's why the offense is better.
And I'll tell you what was disheartening about the portal. Back to that again. So here's another example for why I feel I have these strong feelings about it. I remember watching college football about a year ago, and bowl season was around, and I'm watching these freshman quarterbacks. One example was North Carolina and West Virginia. These quarterbacks play, and they hadn't played all season, and now you're expecting them to play and start for the first time in the biggest game of their year, of the school's year, of the team, and someone has left and transferred and went to into the portal. And now you got a freshman, for example, who's starting in his first game ever. It's a bowl game. If he does not perform well, another portal kid's going to come in over top of him next. That's what's going to happen. And I just don't. I just hate the whole the no penalty part is really disappointing.
And to your point, so the 3rd quarterback at UCF was in the system for probably 4 months, played a couple of games and wasn't good. Shocking development. And now he's like, okay, we're done with you. And his career's over. And it's not over, but it's like the expectations for these guys to just come in and play great after he told us what mentally you have to go through to run a quarter, to run an ISO power.
Right.
It's just like the easiest playing football. It's too much. It's too much. And I think the quality of play has gone down. So do you like my system? You think we can do that?
I love it. I just thought about something else. UNLV's quarterback who said, I'm just done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. I totally forgot about that. Because you guys promised me a certain amount of money.
Right.
You didn't pay me. What were they? They were like 4-0.
They were 5-0 at the time.
5-0.
So I can't look at the other guys in that locker room.
How can you even do that?
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
And I guess you could look at the university and they're like, well, it was a misunderstanding. We don't have anything in writing. We didn't even understand. It's so crazy right now. And you got the agents out there that are acting as NIL agents. It's complete lunacy.
Yeah.
It's complete lunacy.
Yeah. I mean, I like the things you said. Okay. And I agree that we need widespread. My problem is I feel like we've almost gone so far in the other direction. It's like now it's all about the TV contracts and all those type of things that's running college football. I don't know if we're ever going to get back to it. I hate the fact that I took a peek at rivalry week this year, in which is in 2 weeks. Rivalry week looks like it looks horrible this year.
Yeah.
It really looks horrible because some of those big games that we're expecting to see, those teams aren't playing each other. It's a shame that we don't get to see Bedlam anymore.
Yes.
The game is always one of the most fun games in college football. It's a shame. It's a shame that UCF and USF don't get to play anymore.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous.
War
yeah, and now USF is it almost feels like this manufactured rivalry with FAU because it's an in-state team in the conference. But it's no, that's not it. That is not it. And I refuse to believe that fans want to see that.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that.
What was it like playing in that game, USF versus UCF?
So, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to play.
You didn't?
So, we beat UCF, unfortunately, 7 years in a row. And Jim Leavitt took them off the schedule because we kind of looked at them as little brothers.
Coach, what are you doing?
So, we replaced them, I think, with a non-conference game. It might have been – that's probably when we were playing the Florida States and the Miamis and Notre Dames.
Well, in his defense, he's like, I'm not going to give them any credibility to come and overtake us since we beat them every year anyway.
Yeah.
So I kind of get that, although it shortchanges the fans because the fans
I mean, that game should be played every year.
Yeah.
FSU should play USF as many times as they can. Should play all the Florida teams should be playing. If you have a non-conference game for FSU or USF or Miami, that should be against a Florida team, a state school.
Now, when I was playing, I do remember, Levitt, at the time in our administration, we were chasing the Big Four, because that's why we were playing Florida State and that's why we were playing Miami.
So how does it pain you to see these knuckleheads at UCF in the Big 12 now and just pass you guys by?
I mean, it's good for the state, but I definitely am not a fan.
Well, you're raising money now for USF.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
You guys just had the stadium dedication.
Yes. Yep.
Take me through all that, what that stadium means to USF and how it positions you to be moving into my new college football section where you guys would be in well, you were in the Big East, right? I think you would be added to the ACC. Yeah. In my world, you guys would be added to the ACC, and I'd like to see UCF in there as well instead of the Big 12.
Gotcha.
So where are you guys at now in terms of that?
Yeah, obviously conference realignment is very important and a big discussion. We're definitely raising money to put us in that position. It always is, supported by the money, by the dollar. I think, with this on-campus stadium, that puts us back into that position to be able to do that. Raymond James is amazing, great place to be. I love playing there. The Super Bowls were there. It's a great space. But in college football, you need your own stadium. And the coolest part for me is back in 1996 when football first started at USF, on those where it started at on campus, which is the corner of Fletcher and 50th. That's where our stadium will be. So our 50-yard line will be historically where the first Jim Levitt USF football practice was.
That's cool.
It has historic value to it. It kind of changes the dynamic of USF, quote unquote, being a commuter school.
Yeah.
And now you're actually going to bring people to campus because there's plenty of people who go to USF St. Pete, Sarasota, College of Health downtown, who don't visit the campus that often. So now you're going to bring everybody back to a central point, where college game days will be, I think, incredible for this community.
I like that the tailgate thing is right next door to the stadium.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun.
And the student section shaped like a bull.
Like a bull, right?
DJ booth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's nice.
It'll be it's a lot more expensive than the bounce house. I can say that.
Yeah, where's your lazy river?
I'm still waiting. All these years. Yeah, being in the bounce house, like this is the first year that I've been like covering the team, like and being in the press box, and I never realized. Like I think when they played Colorado, and obviously that was a big game and everything. Like before the game, I mean, you're in the press box, and I didn't realize it feels like you're literally about to like you're shaking left and right the entire time.
Oh yeah,
and it feels like you're literally about to like fall through somewhere. Yeah, like it is like it's fun as like when you're a student and you're in the crowd.
Absolutely,
but when you're up top like
drunk,
that, yeah, exactly.
Now you're sober.
Exactly, like it's very rinky dink. It's very rinky-dink, and I am very jealous that when I look at USF Stadium, I'm like, wow, their facilities are going to pass UCF's. Like, there's no doubt about it.
So do you think a conference realignment, I think they're looking at 2030 when all these media deals are done. I think a lot's going to happen before then, but you think you're well positioned right now to move into a P4 conference?
I think once we get this stadium, that'll help us. I think today we're moving in that position and process, but once we get the stadium, once we're able to bring, I think we open up with Louisville in 2027. Once we have those type of
you got the game set already?
Oh yeah, we got some games coming, we really do, and it'll be fun once we are able to bring all that to life. With Michael Kelly, he even talks about having, college football playoff games there. Bowl games there. So that's going to help us generate revenue. That's going to, because we have to rent out Raymond James to play there. I mean, there's no secret in that. And so the money we can generate from this, I think, will really help us.
And to like the on-field product and some of the things inside the program, what do you think is the biggest differences that you've noticed with Coach Golish since he's come in there?
Yeah. He's a fiery, feisty person. He's about football. He's all about ball. And I like the attitude that he's come in with. Obviously, we took a blow with our quarterback being hurt this year, Byron Brown. But, I really like just his go to work mentality. Every day He's committed to the process, and that's something he always says. It's something I see every day. And that kind of just tells you about who he is as a person, and he tries to relay that to the players as well. It's easy to get mundane and sidetracked throughout the season, winning or losing, but every day it seems to be very important to him, and I really respect that. That's something that Coach Levitt, always was very adamant about. Every day is different, and every day you have to put in the work to be successful. And, he doesn't let off the gas. I can tell you that.
So they've got 3 games left. You guys got, I'll go say you because you're part of the USF. You got 3 games left. You got Charlotte this weekend on the road. Then you got Tulsa and Rice, I believe.
Yep.
3 winnable games
to
get to, what, that'd be 7? 7 wins?
I think that'd be 6, right?
6. So you get 3 winnable games. That gets to 6 in a bowl game.
Yeah.
How important is that for this program to kind of keep ascending with those wins?
No, it's extremely important. I mean, last year was Coach Gold's first year, and we go to a bowl game and beat Syracuse, down in Boca Raton. So to continue that process, I think will really help us continue to move forward. It also will help you with recruiting, as you know. I mean, so it'll definitely help us continue to ascend. And at the end of the day, no one wants to go backwards. So once we get taste a little bit of success, we want to continue to have that. So that I think it's very important for our culture, especially with everything that's going on. We had a great basketball season last year. We went to a bowl game last year. We have a lot of men's and women's sports, track national championships, our cheerleading teams, co-ed have won back-to-back national championships. I mean, there are things happening, but as you know, football is the biggest money generating revenue, sport in college. So if we can continue to push forward in the football aspect, I think we'll be in a good position.
And what's going on with Byram? Is he hurt? Is he not? Is he playing? What's going on? Can you give us any insight?
I know he's working on getting back healthy. He definitely had an injury, but I see Byram every day, and that young man is dedicated. He is extremely serious about ball. One thing I can tell you is when he first got to USF, he was probably number 4 or 5 on the roster. We had Timmy McClain, who transferred to UCF.
Still transferring.
Right. We had guys in front of him that it probably didn't look like he was going to have the opportunity to play, but he always prepared himself as if he was the man before he became, the man essentially. So, last year was his first time starting. He did well. He's going to continue to grow. He put on like 25 to 30 pounds since last year. And it's all muscle. I mean, the kid drinks cartons of milk like every 2 days. So, but I think the more and more he gets healthy, we'll be in a good position to be successful. And even the backup quarterback behind him, Bryce Archie, this is his first collegiate start. He's also he's a pitcher,
right?
The baseball team, but even he's learning and continuing to grow too. So, as you know, you go as far as your quarterback. So.
Byram, just as a young man, we've had him on the show. Just tremendous representative of South Florida. What?
I had breaking news here.
Oh, we do?
Big breaking news, actually.
What do we got?
The Rays have announced where they are playing in 2025.
Oh, good. So I didn't have to say it and sound like an idiot.
Correct.
Where are they playing?
Steinbrenner Field.
I was right. I was right all along. I was going to tell you Steinbrenner Field. I've been saying that all along. Wow, that's a big deal.
Yeah, Top Kid just reported it 2 minutes ago. So I'm sure there'll be more details that come out, but we all get what we want. There's finally going to be baseball in Tampa.
Yes.
There
Finally.
it is.
Yes. Outdoor baseball at Steinbrenner Field.
Wow.
Yeah. This is exact. Well, yeah, it takes me back, but there's just been the Rays have had just such, to me, it's all owner related because this is such a great baseball area. Yeah. I mean, everybody grows up playing Little League baseball like Nick did here. Yep. It's such when people badmouth this market, like, oh, people don't care. No, we care. Yeah. We care. We've just had some, an owner that really doesn't care about Tampa Bay, in my opinion. But now they're going to play in Steinbrenner Field, and it's just for 1 year. They're still thinking about anything on what they're doing with the Trop?
I'm not sure. Top Kid said there's going to be a story coming soon with details, but this is literally just breaking now.
This is, to me, this is great because what it does is it coalesces your fan base in Tampa.
Yeah.
And I don't want to separate Tampa and St. Pete because I always look at Tampa Bay as one giant, wonderful area. Yeah. And St. Pete is not the place for the baseball stadium. It's just not. It's a beautiful downtown. It's unbelievable beaches. It's great for all that stuff, but it's on the edge of the market surrounded by water. 81 games a year. It's got to be centrally located. That's just basic math, basic demographics. So now you're going to have basically what they can get up to 15 to maybe 17,000 stadium, probably 15,000. They've got luxury boxes. Have you been to Steinbrenner Field? Yeah. It's, they got the beautiful right field porch. They got the Hard Rock Cabanas. There's a lot of premium seating, and they can do a lot with it.
Right.
There's a lot of room. Of course, you got the parking and the access that Raymond James Stadium has because it's right next door. So all of those logistics work out well. It's now going to be in the middle of the market. And I'm going to tell you, that place is going to be packed every night.
Absolutely.
Every single night. Season tickets are going to sell out in a heartbeat. And nobody, is it hot? And it's, it's going to be hot. And it's hot. You know what? It's hot in St. Louis. It's hot in Atlanta. They don't have domes.
Right.
So, but, April and May is going to be beautiful. A little bit of June.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a rainy season, whatever. But it's going to be outdoor baseball, and the place is going to be full, and it's going to be a vibe. And then when this vote happens in Pinellas, where they're not going to go forward with the new stadium, that's what I think, because the Rays just campaigned against two new commissioners.
That's the part here now that I'm curious to see, because remember the article that came out, what was it, last Friday?
Mm-hmm.
And it was very in detail about how the city of Pinellas was almost pressuring the Rays and basically threatening them. Like, hey,
if you go to Tampa, we're not going to approve this.
Exactly. Like, hey, you need to play in Pinellas because, that was the agreement that you made. And I thought that was a ridiculous way to look at it, because it was a natural disaster that got him into this situation to begin with. But that's my next question now is, how does this impact the new stuff? Because we already know that thing was probably going to be delayed at this point to 2029 at the earliest.
Yeah, the new stadium.
Yeah.
I think what it tells me is that the Rays figured that this county vote's going to go against them. And because they campaigned against the two new commissioners, and it was already a 5-2 vote. So do the math. Now it's going to be 4-3 against. And with the county doesn't approve the funding, they're part of the funding. The deal's done. It's over. And so they're like, well, we might as well go play in Tampa. That's what it tells me. And I think that's the best thing that can possibly happen, because it was a horrible idea to begin with. And once they come to Tampa and they see the support that's here, and I talked to Ken Hagan yesterday. I texted with him as the county commissioner, Hillsborough County commissioner. He's been the point person, and he said, I'll just say what I've been saying all along. If it doesn't work out, come talk to us. And if we have an owner who is willing to partner with the community, St. Pete was basically just writing them a blank check. They're not going to do that in Hillsborough County. They got money, but they don't have endless money. If you want to partner with Hillsborough County, we can get a new stadium done where it should be. And so to me, this is the first step to what should be a long, long life of Rays baseball in Tampa Bay. And the stadium on the Tampa side where it should be. And in St. Pete, they can build a convention center on that lot. They don't have to pay $2.4 billion in public money to keep the Rays, because that's the eventual cost. And on top of another $50 million or $60 million at the least to repair the Trop,
right?
Which is, which you're going to blow up in 2 years anyway. It's ridiculous. So St. Pete can save all that money, redirect it to the beaches and the 20,000 homes that have been wrecked in these hurricanes. They don't need the Rays. The Rays don't need to be there. And it's best for the region. It's best for St. Pete. It's best for Pinellas County. We all know this. This to me is a tremendous step forward of what baseball should be in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I personally too, I don't know if you blame the Rays for this, but I don't blame them. The whole thing that happened with the campaigning against the officials and all that who got elected, because the way I understand this vote was supposed to happen prior to these elections happening.
Right.
Okay. And then obviously a hurricane comes, and who thinks that the Trop's, whatever called roof is going to go flying everywhere. Right. I mean,
to me, it was the most obvious thing in the world.
Maybe we should have seen. Maybe we should have seen
fabric
it coming.
roof.
It's a big gaping
It's
hole.
it's a fabric roof and a hurricane that was only rated to 115 miles per hour. And here's the kicker: it was 10 years past due to be replaced.
Okay,
it should have been replaced. The stadium should have been replaced, and the owner was the reason it wasn't replaced, is he kept trying to get by. And you know what happened? I think this hurricane, if there's any blessing from these hurricanes, this is it. That St. Pete is not going to make the worst financial decision they've ever made in their life. They'll be forced not to. And that money will be used for things that are much more needed, and baseball stadium isn't one of them. And I think this is probably the best thing that'll happen. Yes, we go back to the drawing board. Listen, I will predict this again, as I predicted they were going to play at Steinbrenner Field, and many of you folks told me I was crazy. So that's happening. And I'll predict this. The vote's going to happen. They're going to vote it down. This new stadium's going to go away. And renewed, hopefully, Stu will I hope he sells the team and takes his profit and goes. These local groups take it over and build a beautiful stadium in Tampa, where it should be. So I have this other great idea, BJ. Have you heard this one?
What's that?
So the Bucks are asking for a new stadium as well, or not asking, but they've got to
renovate it, right?
Yeah, they've got to figure it out. They've got to put a roof on it. They've got to, like they did in Miami, they've got to do something to get Super Bowls and what have you.
Yeah.
So my idea is, instead of having one stadium that is, we've tried that with football and baseball. It's just hard to do.
Right.
Here's what you do. You go to the fairgrounds, and the Seminole Indians have tons of money, and they would love this. And I know there are people in that sphere that want to buy the Rays. I've talked to them.
Okay.
But they're not part of the tribe, but they're in that sphere. So you could go to the fairgrounds and build a football stadium on one side, right? In the middle, you have a big casino and all the shared areas, right? The shared areas, like all the bars and restaurants, and a casino in the middle where all the money goes, sports books in the middle. And on the other side, you have the baseball field. So they're connected. It's a mega stadium. And then you have a roof that slides over.
They have that in Seattle.
Yeah.
With the Mariners.
Right. They're right next door.
Right.
Yeah. So it's similar, and it's all together. Right.
Yeah.
It's great because you have shared parking, shared access. It's great in and out. You bring Orlando in, Bright Line's coming in. Got to stop right there at the Hard Rock Mega World. And then you got the roof that slides over. And so when you want to do outdoor baseball, you slide it back over. When you want to do indoor football, you slide it over for Super Bowls and national championship games. You become the place. Florida, I-4, Tampa, the beaches. We got, a Super Bowl, people stay out at the beach. Yeah. We got the beaches, we got the water, we got the airport, we got Orlando. Two big markets, the 11th largest market in Tampa, the 18th largest market in Orlando. We're all going to be one city in 10 years anyway. In the mega world's right in the middle, the greatest stadium, casino, everything. There, I fixed that too.
Now here's the question.
Yeah.
Now,
who's paying for it?
Who's paying for it? And is it going to be another Hard Rock casino stadium?
Yeah,
because we already have one in Miami.
Yeah.
So what would you call it?
Hard Rock World. Instead of Hard Rock Stadium, it's Hard Rock World.
Gotcha.
and the money, the money is there.
Yeah.
And it's a public-private partnership, and you have a new ownership group coming in with the Rays that would have money. Maybe or maybe not tied to the Seminole Indian tribe. The Glazers have plenty of money. They can kick in as well.
Yeah.
And they would want to be part of something like this that they'll make tons of money off. Concerts. Yeah. And your baseball stadium will now serve as your amphitheater as well.
Right.
Get rid of that trash one we have right now. So we have a new amphitheater as well. We have new concerts in the new USF stadium too, so we can do that as well. But I think that you fix two things right there, and you have literally a showcase stadium area that is the greatest in the world.
Well,
nobody's done anything like that. You got to spend the money anyway, so you might as well do it.
Well, you have my vote as mayor, county commissioner, whatever it is that
I fixed it all.
That is required.
I fixed it all. It's so easy to do. Let's just get it done. I mean, this is to me, Tampa Bay area is the greatest place in the world to live.
Yeah.
First of all, you want to live in America. We're in the free state of Florida. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
We got the weather. We got everything. We got everything you need here. And I just think that would be the coup de grace.
Yeah.
You could do it right there. You could also do this where Raymond James Stadium is, but I think it would be better at the fairgrounds because then it's just accessible to Orlando, much more accessible to Orlando, and all that growth in the I-4 corridor that's going on now.
Right.
You've literally got almost 10 to 11 million people within an hour's drive.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah, the Rays. Top can put the story out. The Rays are still not commenting on any of this, but Ken Welch put out something, I guess. He said, "We have ongoing discussions with the Rays, and they talked to me about that. I understand their rationale for Steinbrenner. I'll let them speak to that. We discussed Clearwater versus Tampa and why they might want to go in that direction along with MLB. And then there was the quote in here from the newly elected Commissioner Chris Latvala, I think is how you say it. And he basically said if they play in Hillsborough, I'm a no. So, they can do the math how they want to do the math.
It's done.
So for them to take the risk,
it's done.
Of doing
the new
this,
stadium is toast.
Sorry,
Mayor Welch.
The whole Raise to Tampa crowd is going to get awfully loud now. Back once
As
again.
it should be. This is, but it's the only same thing to do. I mean, how many Rays games do you go to?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
To be honest.
If it were in Tampa, would you go to more?
Absolutely.
Of course you would.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
and also
we don't need to go through all the numbers. It's silly. I mean,
the last thing here, because I know everybody's going to talk about the rain, and you mentioned the heat as well. The heat is the heat. It's every other team deals with it. According to it's in the article here, according to Florida State League data, the Tarpons over the last 10 seasons have averaged 6.4 postponements annually that are all weather related, which doesn't seem like a crazy number.
It's not,
honestly, for 82 game, especially when you go to 82 game season. I don't think it's really too much. And I'm sure you can get creative with the schedule and play some earlier games too as well. There's ways to get around that, I think.
Well, most of the rain, as you guys know, comes in early afternoon. It's it's every day, 5:30. Game times 7:00, 7:30. You like Doug Wechter said, you wipe out a lot of batting practice. Nobody cares.
Right.
But it's not ideal, but it's the best option by far. We'll deal with it. And it'll be so much more fun. I mean, imagine a packed house every night.
Yeah.
The energy in that place. And baseball should be play outdoors. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I want to smell the grass. So when you walk into Atlanta Stadium, I was there this summer. First thing you do, you walk in and you smell the grass.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's just a different feel. And it's outside. It's the sunshine. I was there on July 4th. It was hot, but it was fine.
I've never even been to an MLB game outside. Never even been to one.
That's why you think the Trop is great.
Don't even know. Can't even relate to that feeling.
I'm so excited about this. I am so excited about this. Maybe I'll even get a seat in the press box. Nah, I guess not.
But I'll tell you, I really, JP, I really do enjoy the retractable roof idea.
I do too. Yeah.
Seattle, the experience I had was with the Seattle Mariners and Seattle Seahawks and all that, because of the rain. But here, lightning capital of the world, right?
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to miss, when I was playing here at USF, we would miss a couple practices getting ready for a Friday night game against Rutgers on TV because of that. But that retractable roof, I think, is something that they can invest in and save money compared to all the other ideas that are,
one roof instead of two.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just slide it. Well, BJ, thank you for coming in, man. I hope you had fun today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pleasure. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I said it before. I've known you all your life almost, and so proud watching you grow up and become the man you've become, and an author, and how you help people and a servant leader like your dad. That's why I love to have him on the show today. It's a great legacy for both of you, and you being a part of this Tampa Bay community is very important moving forward.
Yes, sir.
I know you're going to be a leader in this community for a long, long time, and you'll be there when they break ground and play in the new baseball stadium as well.
I appreciate the platform. This is really cool.
And you're welcome anytime, partner.
Anytime. I have to leave with this, man. You do a lot for this community, and I think a lot of people, respect your opinion, your knowledge, and what you do for this community as well. So it's, thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for saying that. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining us here. We'll, as you know, you can watch and listen on YouTube and X, Facebook any day. Go watch the replay. If you missed any of this, you can get it on the podcast too at Apple and Spotify. Please like and subscribe. The Rays are coming to Tampa, baby. Finally, the Rays will play in Tampa. It's a great day in Tampa Bay. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow.